Hey guys, this is Josh Shoemaker here again, joined again with fellow staffer Dan Keenan. I'm going to bring you guys the Optimum IDOL review today. So the Optimum IDOL features the same cover that was found on the original, also the same core, but it's now wrapped in the AI core tech. So if you guys are familiar with the AI core technology, all that's really going to do is make the core specs from 16 to 15 be a little bit, or 16 to 14 be a little bit closer to each other. So you're remaining that drilling integrity across the board, and it's also going to beef up the differential a little bit and lower the RG. So that combined with a little bit heavier oils that we're seeing in today's conditions as opposed to when the original came out, you're probably going to see pretty much a carbon copy of what you had when you first drilled your original. This lane here that we got seems to have a couple games on it, so it's transitioned probably closer to what you'd expect like a game 2 in your league. So we're going to be starting a little bit further left than we would if we're starting a fresh league or a tournament session. It'll give you guys at least a little bit of an idea of what to expect out of it, and maybe your game 2, game 3 of league. Got that one up the lane a little bit. Clearly you can see it wasn't going to hook from that spot.
Yeah, as you're going to see, this is definitely a little transitioned. This is a piece. It's very smooth. It's not a ball that goes down and whips. It definitely digs in and it gives you a real nice smooth transition. So we're probably at the point where the transition is, where this would probably be pretty close to a ball change. I'll try to use the dry to blend it a little bit. So I probably used the dry a little too late, so I made it a little angular. So next shot here, I'll try to make it go around it just a little bit more.
So similar to what Dan just said, I'm going to try to get this one a little bit righter, a little bit quicker to that friction, and see if I can get it to blend off it, whereas the last one kind of just got up the lane and didn't really see it in the proper spot. There you go. Much better. So bumped like a half right with the feet and made sure I got that one going to the right and saw the friction and blended very nicely off of it.
Slow. All right, so that was a little slow. Kind of what I wanted to do visually, speed-wise, not very good. It's a little background. Mine is 4x4, which puts the pin right underneath my ring. So I did it intentionally to be pretty strong. So I wanted the smoothest reaction possible. Trying to get some. Again, I've talked about this in the last couple videos. Getting ready for nationals, trying to find those balls that are where they're gonna slot in. With the surface on this, 2000 out of the box. Definitely drilling a pin up. I was hoping to be here before we did the video. Unfortunately, I waited too long to order it. So I'm gonna do another one pin up. I'll probably honestly have it like 4,000, maybe even a 5,000 wet, just to give myself a little more length for when they get like this, because I think it can be used to blend the wet dry on the house patterns.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to go bump one back left here. Still trying to get it pretty far to the right to blend off that friction. I'll touch more up the lane than the last one, but as you can see, it still blended it We talked about in the last couple of videos, these AI core balls, they just seem to go through the pins just as well as like the two-piece stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. I'm going to be very interested to see what this road ball is like. That's not going to be, it's going to have the two-piece and also have the AI core tech in it. So big hopes for that one as well.
Yeah, so I've talked to Josh about just what I see out of this so far. I've used it a lot. Last couple of weeks, I used it up at Bud Bowl, which is a tougher, flatter tournament, probably 38, 39 feet of oil. And the thing that impressed me the most was how when I would miss it right, the light hits that I get out of it are just absolutely incredible. Sort of like that.
There you go.
That's just how hard the thing hits.
Speak into existence. All right, so I'm going to jump a couple left with this one. Still trying to get it right quick, but I'm probably going to have to drop the speed a little bit to make it see it. When I did throw this in league last time, I noticed it rolled really well from straight, and then since the cover is as slow and as strong as it is, as soon as I really tried to open up the lane, it didn't really like that quite as much. But we'll see here with this being a little bit more friction out. All right. Yeah. Got that one going up the lane a little bit more than I wanted to again. I don't really see this as being a ball that I'm going to open up the lane a ton with. I did drill it the same as my phase 2, so it's a 5-inch pin. It's a really short buffer. And I was able to throw this idol for the first 1.5 games in league, and then as soon as I need to open up more, I was able to transition right into my phase 2 with having the same layout, a little bit weaker core and a weaker cover. I was able to shape a little bit more.
All right, I'm going to do what I did in the last shot. Just bump my feet to left. Try to use that same ball speed and see if we can snap that 10 out. Unless you throw it really fast to the dry, it's going to hook a lot.
Still goes through the pins good, though.
Goes through the pins.
All right, same spot as I was that last shot, but I'm going to try to get it 2 to 3 more right down lane. See if I can have it shape off of that dry a little bit better. There we go. Much better. I was able to drop the speed a little bit there, add a little bit more axis rotation, got it right a little bit faster. As you can see, it was able to blend off the dry, which is what I was trying to do the shot before.
I say yeah, it's just a couple more left. Obviously, I have probably quite a bit more side rotation and axis rotation than Josh does. So my balls, when they get like this, they tend to respond really quick off the dry and a little too slow out of the wall than in the middle there. Next shot, I'll try to go a couple even more left and really open it up just so you can see what it does off the friction.
All right, so I'm going to jump another 2 left here. One with the eyes. Trying to keep the speed about the same as the last shot and add a little bit more axis rotation. Ooh. Fell off that one a little bit, but that was pretty close to where I wanted it. So if you slow it down enough, it's still going to be able to read that, the body of the lane well, but once you start getting this far left, I think there's probably a little bit better ball option-wise, at least for me, what I would be into.
I mean, the good thing is at least you can see that it definitely hooks. Just gives you an idea how strong it really is. You know, so again, what I've seen on the fresh house shots, the couple sports patterns I've bowled good on, I personally can play up the lane with it. It definitely needs a little bit of volume. So there's that light hit I was talking about. As you saw, the head pin absolutely got annihilated into the wall all the way back across. So again, that's what's been most impressed me about this ball so far, is just for how strong it is, how hard it absolutely annihilates the head pin.
All right, so go another 2 left here, so I'll end up 7 left to where I started. Get real slow with it and try to shape it, and then after this we'll get into a couple of the comparison balls. Yeah. So over that part of the lane, it's just going to be too slow. It was kind of asking for a lot at that point. So from that zone of the lane, my summits and my phase twos, with them being quite a bit quicker, are going to look a little bit better. And you'll actually see when we start throwing those how much quicker they're going to respond off the friction in this idle.
All right, so I'll give you another one here from that last zone. Oh, I didn't get that time.
All right, so I'm going to go into my summit now. The summit for me, strength-wise, feels pretty similar, but it actually is a decent amount quicker off the friction. So off of the idle, I was able to stand like 5 further left, and able to open up the lane quite a bit more. So I'll go back to where I started with the idle, and this is probably going to end up going Brooklyn from here with how much quicker it is out the friction. Yeah.
Much quicker.
Yes, much quicker. So the next shot, I'll hop in kind of where I finished with that idle, and you're going to see a lot more shape out of that from that spot.
Yeah, so I kind of knew Josh was going to, from talking to him, he was definitely going to have a phase two. I was just going to probably assume a summit from talking to him about when we were talking about shooting the video. So I decided, strength-wise, I would bring a couple, my TNT and my TNT infused. So the TNT, I went up. It's probably going to be just slightly quicker. The infused is definitely going to be a little cleaner because of the hybrid cover, and then quicker responding down the lane. I've just found so far that infused really does kind of come after the idle for me, so I didn't throw a shot with this before we warmed up. So yeah, so kind of what I expected there. It was probably not going to pick up like the idle does with the layout, so I'll go and bump back right. That's good.
That TNT is a tank. That's one of the heaviest rolling balls I think I've ever seen.
For sure.
That was kind of the predecessor to the idle, and I think a lot of people that really liked the original idle and drilled the TNT, they weren't quite happy with it. But I can see the people that really like the idle drilling this Optimum, they're going to be reminded of how that original idle was. So I'm just going to hop right into where that last shot was with the Optimum, and you'll probably see a decent amount more shape out of the summit from in here. That one was up the lane, kind of like that last shot with the idle was, but with it being so much quicker, it saw that friction, was able to get up and go, whereas the idle just kind of saw it and went forward off of it.
All right, so I have to do the opposite of Josh. I got to go right. I don't know if I like going right here, but I'm going to go right. So it's either going to be 5 or a strike. I'm going to move 5 and see if I can get this up the lane. So yeah, I moved probably 5 right. It was 5 right and 2-3 with my eyes. Back to the left, so up the lane a little more. And like Josh said, that the TNT is a ball that definitely tumbles. it's my ball when I'm really trying to be super straight with my angles that I do go to.
Alright, so I'm just going to bump another couple left and really try to slow it down just to see how much. Actually, try to get this one going to the right a little bit more so you guys can actually see how much more shape this is than the Optimum for me. There you go. Yeah, so that one got it going right a little bit quick. And then as you can see, I really didn't even need to slow it down as much as I did with the Optimum from that spot. And it still had plenty of shape.
All right, so I'm going to throw the Infuse, which has a very similar layout. These are probably 4 3/4 by 3 are the layouts on these. So I'm going to throw the Infuse pretty much where I just threw the original TNT, and this should give me just a little more length. So as you can see, a little more length, kind of what Josh's Summit's doing. It's going to be quicker off the spot. So yeah, I'll just make a move left.
So now I'm going to jump into the phase 2 here. So the phase 2 and my Optimum have the same layout. They're both 5-inch pins with like a 1-inch pin buffer for the VLS crowd, and then for the dual angle crowd, I think they're like 5 by 10. And then my Summit's a little bit stronger pin. It's 4 3/4 with a little bit longer buffer. I think it was like a 2.5-inch buffer. Or for the dual angle crowd, it was like 4 3/4 by I think 35. So that layout's going to be a little bit slower response than the other two. So again, we're just going to hop right into kind of where we were before. And this should be visually quite a bit cleaner than the Summit and the Optimum and more responsive down lane. I got that one going more right kind of where I wanted that Optimum, and it was able to blend it out, but you could see that it scooted through the front quite a bit easier. Saw the friction and got going, whereas the other two kind of rolled off of it a little bit slower.
All right, so I'm going to go right on top of where my last shot with the Optimum was with this Infused and see what it does. There we go.
Give you guys one more shot with the phase 2 here. Just go a couple more left and maybe keep in the oil a little bit longer and see if we can still get some shape out of it. Ooh. Say keep in the oil and then throw it out to 4.
All right, my last shot here, I'm going to go right back to the Optimum from where I just threw the Infuse, so you kind of have a fresh, you don't have to go too far back in the video here to see that difference. See if I hit my target twice in a row. That seems to be a problem this morning. Yeah, it's easy. I mean, the idle is significantly earlier, not quicker, but earlier, and much slower. If I threw the Infuse like that with that little bit of more side turn on it, I would have gone 5 through the face, maybe even crossed over from that spot.